Hey, the PMP exam is one of the most difficult tests for professionals, and we've heard this from everyone. But not to worry, you have a coach who eats the PMBOK for lunch. Here he is to set the record straight for you, your friend Phill.
Thank you very much. Welcome everyone to today's Brunch Time. PMP Brunch Time is where we chill out and talk about all things PMP to get motivated for our PMP exam study. So you might be on lunch, maybe you just got done with lunch. The time on the East Coast is 2:33, so I'm assuming you're probably done eating. Perhaps this is where sleep begins to kick in. Hopefully not. Those of you on the Pacific time zone or the Midwest, you might just be eating lunch at this point. So I'd like to welcome you. You know the way I roll with these brunch time meetings. If you got any questions, it's a good opportunity to chat them in. So I want to encourage you to chat in any questions you've got about the PMP exam, about your prep, your study, anything to that effect. Okay? Today, I'm just going to go through a few points as usual regarding making the PMBOK guide simple. And I started off yesterday in our brunch time talking about how to make closing and monitoring and controlling simple. So today I'll start talking about how to make executing simple, and I will talk a little bit about each process just casually. Yesterday I gave my simple analogy of a pool build project where a company was going to build a pool and a spa. And I kind of made that a study of how you can make the PMBOK guide sound easy, look easy. So we went through that journey, and now we are at the bottom of executing, going up. So the last thing you've got in executing, if I remember that table correctly, I hope you've got page 25 in your head, because I don't have it to show you. If you got it in your head, last thing there is in stakeholder management, and it's managed stakeholder engagement. So managed stakeholder engagement in that example, if you want to watch the videos from yesterday, look for my video, the brunch time one yesterday. But following on from there, Phill is the stakeholder, and we have the pool company building the pool and so on. So this is where that company would do everything that they need to engage me. I'm the client, I'm the customer. They need to engage me. They need to make sure I'm attending meetings, and whatever they know will propel me to be engaged, they need to be doing that. Happens in managed stakeholder engagement. Lots of overlap. So keep that in mind. So it's really, a lot of it is communicating and other actions that keep your stakeholder engaged or your customer engaged. So still moving up, going to procurement. And some of you might feel kind of deja vu. Haven't we done this recently? Yep, last night, actually, this morning, around 4 or 5 East Coast time, we had a session on executing. So if it sounds a bit familiar, that's probably why. But anyway, going up from managed stakeholder engagement, we get to procurement, and we conduct procurement. So conduct procurements, an example of that would be, I'm the buyer and I'm looking to contract this project out to a firm. So I send out an advertisement and I say, anyone who is interested in doing this work for me, send in your proposal. This is what it should look like, or bid or whatever. And they send in the proposals or they bid. And at the end of the day, I'm going to select maybe 3 final candidates. And I'm going to ask them for samples and ask them to demo what they do and demo their warranty plans and all that. And at the end of the day, I'm going to award the contract. That's pretty much it. Lots of you have been through all of these 49 processes. They're nothing new. So going up from procurement, conduct procurements, going up into risk management, into implement risk responses. An example on the side of the people who are building would be they identify a weather-related risk and they decide to work more during the day and night in order to not be affected by that foreseen risk. They've listen to the weather report and it says in the next 3 days it's gonna snow 12 inches. That's weird. You wouldn't be building a pool in the winter, would you? But some people do. Yeah, business is probably slow for those companies. But imagine 12 inches of snow is going to hit. They know it's going to hit. The sensible thing to do would be to accelerate work, crash the schedule, load it heavily in the next few days so that you can get as much of it done. But implement risk responses would be implementing that response that they might have already thought about. Still going up in the chain, and I'm thinking of where it is. Up in the chain from risk is communication. So next is communications, managed communications. Managed communications is where, again, you're communicating. And people often get these two mixed up, managed communications and managed stakeholder engagement. And I think why people get them mixed up is you're communicating in both, but the intent is different. I tell people the intent of managed communications versus managed stakeholder engagement are different. They're complementary, but they're different. So you've got managed communications. I am communicating because I said I would, because it's in the plan. Why don't we take a look at your favorite book here? And why don't we look at what exactly managed communications is all about? There's a few things I would like to highlight. So let's go to 10.2. Manage communications. All right, 10.2 is on page 379, and it reads, managed communications is the process of ensuring timely and appropriate collection, creation, distribution, storage, retrieval, management, monitoring, and the ultimate disposition of project information. Don't you love it when they don't even take a break in a sentence? It's a mouthful, but it's all very important. So managed communications is where you are collecting, creating, distributing, storing, retrieving, managing, monitoring, and disposing of project information. So it's one thing to communicate, but it's another thing to be active in listening. It's another thing to be actively ensuring that the message was received. So managed communications is where you do all of that stuff, and it's evidence in the interpersonal and team skills, with active listening being a key thing. That is big, because if you're listening actively, you will know that your audience does not understand a single thing that you've communicated, and then you need to communicate it again using a different format, a different tool. So that's what's happening here. It's a very involved process. It says the managed communications process identifies all aspects of effective communication, including choice of appropriate technologies, methods, and techniques. In addition, it should allow for flexibility in the communications activities, allowing adjustments in the methods and techniques, so on and so forth. So that's the story of that. So that is pretty much what managed communications is. You're communicating with an intent to satisfy the already identified demand. You want to make sure your plan is followed. People get what they need when they need it. You're doing what you said you would do, and you're putting your all into it. You're communicating verbally, through reports, email, any form of communicating. That's managed communications. All right. Now, managed stakeholder engagement, you're communicating, but not with an intent to satisfy the communications management plan per se, but you're doing it with an intent to engage your stakeholder. You're doing it based on, this is my plan to get Phill engaged. Communications is involved across. The way we communicate intent is by communicating, right? Anyway, so that's managed communications. At this point, I want to ask, anybody got any questions? Because remember, it is not a one-way street. If it stays a one-way street, I got to get off and find who to meet or who to greet. So if you ain't got nothing to say, I might as well let you get on with your day. All right, that's what you do when you leave Phill to just idly rhyme. Of course, I'm just going to idly rhyme away when you're not communicating. I want to know what your problems are. I'm not here to teach and train and do death by PowerPoint. I'm here to have a conversation. So if you've got any questions, you got anything about the exam that I can add value to you in, that's why I'm here. All right, let me finish off executing, and I'm going to jump off and give you your day back. I know maybe your boss is breathing down your neck right now. Better get back to work, boy. Better get back to work, girl. We don't want your boss breathing down your neck. So let's finish this off. Still going up, we get into the next thing from communications, which is resource management. And we get into the dreaded ADM. I call them the terrible three: acquire, develop, manage. An example of acquire team would be on this project, the organization that I've contracted the work to, they say, oh, we don't have someone who is good at this. Let's get someone from outside on our team. Well, they're going to acquire resources. Or maybe they do their inventory check and they see, oh, we don't have enough of this solution or this particular product, and they go out having to, purchase that product or resource. That's acquire resources. Acquire resources: human, equipment, material, supplies, facilities. So it can be any type of a resource, not just human. I know human is pretty big, in project management circles, and of course they gulp a lot of the money. A lot of the money is gulped by the humans, but don't forget the equipment, material, supplies. Okay, so that's acquire resources. Develop team is where we send the team for training, team building. We try to get them to better synergize so that they can, get the project work done and add value to the organization, the requesting organization. Manage. An example of develop would be, okay, the team working on this, maybe they need additional training to do a better job. Send them for training, send them for coaching. That's very simple to understand. Manage team. An example would be giving them feedback. Hey, the way you talk to the customer when I was there didn't seem to be in line with our ground rules. How about trying this next time, type of thing. All right, so that's ADM. Going up from resources, we get to manage quality. Manage quality is there's a lot of things here. So you're assuring your customers that you're meeting the standards of quality as you are carrying out your process. You're also thinking about the variables that you need to be designing your product, service, or result for. You're also doing a process analysis to find out ways that your process may be broken and how to improve on a broken process. Maybe taking a look at various tools of quality to determine where the process is broken. What else? Going up, we get into cost. There's nothing there in cost. Then we get into schedule. There's nothing. Scope. There's nothing. Then we hit integration, where we've got a couple. And yesterday, I actually forgot to hit one of them. It now dawns on me. Actually, not yesterday, this morning, because it was really early East Coast time. So I neglected to talk about the very famous managed project knowledge that PMI has added. So yeah, managed project knowledge is where you are sharing new knowledge, you are creating knowledge, you are retrieving knowledge, you're making sure people are connected to the knowledge they need, when they need it, how they need it. So an example would be this company working out there in my yard for me. Perhaps they've got an internal SharePoint site where a lot of these lessons learned are shared, and maybe there's some weird soil conditions that they encounter in this particular area, this particular subdivision. Well, they could communicate that to their other partners that, hey, if you're building in this region, this is what you need to look out for. This is what we found. It didn't look like the soil had any problems until this point, and this is how we got around it. So it's the encapsulation of lessons learned Whatever you learned, you want to encapsulate and put it in your lessons learned register. So there's a new wave of thought regarding lessons learned. Arguably, they're not learned because you didn't know the lesson and didn't implement the lesson. They are lessons to be learned from carrying out these projects. They're like, oh, yeah, there's definitely something to learn here. Okay, next time we do it, we will really learn the lesson. So there's people call them lessons to be learned or lessons not learned, you know. So anyway, you kind of get the picture. And then last but not least, we got director managed project work. We get our deliverables out. At the end of the day, the deliverable will be the built pool, the installed spa, but you know, it's just a deliverable. It's not verified. It's not accepted. So Phill has had no input at this point as far as the deliverable. They just say, this is it. We're done. We are going to test it internal before sending it to Phill. And that would be the end of the story in executing. So folks, again, I've said it a few times. If you are getting ready for the PMP exam, I want you to go to the link below. Go sign up. Hey, don't waste your money going for some cheap, lame course somewhere. If your course is solid, that's fine. But I know a boatload of students that say, do it with anyone else but the company that you see there, right there. You see Praizion.com? Go ask any of the students who say, Phill, I don't know what this is. Do you know what we do for those students? We go the extra mile. You've probably even seen it right here on YouTube. Anyone says, Phill, I don't understand this. You know I'm going to my lab to cook out something crazy for you to absorb the knowledge, for you to get it into your brain and be smart in your game. Because no pain, no gain. I put in the pain. That's why you get the gain. I put in the pain. I was here about 8 hours ago. I was here again before that, hours before, delivering value to you. So why would you go spend money elsewhere only to come back and say, Phill, I failed and they didn't help me? Don't look, sign up right there. See, Praizion.com. Don't waste your time. It's the real deal. I'm telling you. It's the real deal. Go read on Praizion some of what our clients have said. You know, I don't even know how to convince you. You've seen my YouTube videos. If you still think I'm in for it for the short run, you're wrong. This is the long run, the long term. Anything that will help you in your career, project management, PMP exam, be it fully plan driven, be it Dark Ages project management being applied, be it Scrum, be it Agile, be it Kanban, Scrum Ban, whatever you want to call it. We support your efforts to learn and to be a boss, a professional boss in the area of project management. So I want to encourage you, don't go for those cheap, there are a lot of cheap courses out there, lots of them. But at the end of the day, a lot of people regret it. Some people are able to find their way and make their way taking cheap, fake courses. But those courses did not contribute majorly to why those people succeeded. And they know, they'll tell you, oh, I went for this really ridiculous course and I suffered. I suffered in getting certified. I want that to be the case because not everyone can pull off getting a PMP all on their own after going for some lame course that messes up with their brain. That's what I'm saying. Do it right there. Okay, enough said. I'm in broken record mode. People are rolling their eyes. Yeah, but I got to tell the truth, you know. So that's it, folks. I appreciate you joining today. I would like to take any questions one more time. I'm opening up the floor for some questions. If you got any questions, let me know. And if you ain't got none, I'll let you go have some fun with your boss in the office. Or I'll let you go back to bed, whichever one. No questions. Going once. Going twice. Going 3 times. Okay, folks, I appreciate you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. I wish you all the very best. Don't forget, don't be a stranger. Hit me up with questions. Take care and bye for now.